Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing great. So a couple of days ago I put this poll on my Instagram asking you guys if you wanted to see like spooky and thriller novels for the upcoming fall season on my YouTube channel, or you wanted to see quick reads. And most of you guys, like it was around 95 or 96% of you guys voted for quick reads. And yeah, that just seems to be a very popular demand. People just want to read books that are like quick and all, and a lot of my friends, even when they ask me for recommendations, they always ask me to recommend books that they can finish quickly. So the books, like, they have to be very short, very engaging, not very descriptive, very to the point. So I was like, okay, you guys want to see that, so that's what I'm filming today. I'll be recommending five books that are below 200 pages, that that are very engaging and you can very quickly finish in like one or two sittings, if you will. So the first book that I want to recommend is something that I very recently read, which is Two Fates by Judy Balin, The Story of My Divorce. Now obviously the title itself is so interesting. If you didn't already know, or you didn't guess it from the title, it's like sort of a continuation of the Two States story by Chetan Bhagat. There's also a movie on it. So let me tell you quickly about Two States first, if you do not already know. It's basically about this Punjabi guy and this Tamil girl, and they are in love, but obviously they are from very different backgrounds, and it's very difficult for them to convince their families for their wedding. But anyways, by the end, like a very typical Bollywood movie, everything is fine. There's a very what's this a very happy ending, and the families agree and everything, and the couple gets married. Now this story is sort of a continuation of what happens in their life after that. So I think it's very interesting because now that couple, now that their families have agreed and they're married, now they find themselves incompatible. Like there's no real issues with them in their wedding, but they are just not compatible. That's how they feel, that they're not meant to be together, and they want a divorce now. But the problem is now their families, that were earlier so like against their marriage, now they are like best buddies. So the families are very like connected now, and it's going to be very very difficult to even mention the word divorce in front of them. Now if you're from India, I guess you already know it's the divorce is not something that's very openly talked about even today, and it's just like sort of seen as the very last option for the couple, and a lot of times not even that. So a lot of time people are in miserable marriages, but they are just not allowed to get a divorce. So that's the divorce scene in India, and I think in a very very fun and a very light-hearted way this book deals with that topic. I totally enjoyed reading this book. See, as I said, like divorce is not a very light topic to deal with, right? It's a serious thing, but the way the book deals with it is, it doesn't reduce it um, to an unimportant level, if that makes sense, but still it deals with it in a very fun way. So I really enjoyed reading the book, how the couple goes about it and everything. The only thing that I didn't like is that there are a lot of stereotypes in the book, but that was expected honestly, because first of all, Two States full of stereotypical characters, and then this is like sort of a continuation, so there had to be stereotypes. But if you can see past that, then definitely you can go for this. So this is just like 200 pages, so again, a very short book. And if you're someone who likes to read contemporary fiction, or you want to read a storyline that's not much touched upon in Indian fiction, or even in real life it's not talked about much, then you can definitely go for Two Fates. On number two is Life is What You Make It by Preeti Shenoy, and this one I read way back. Like it's been years since I read it, but I still remember like the basic storyline and everything. So this is about this girl called Ankita, and everything is like very good in her life, but then something happens and she ends up being diagnosed with a mental illness, with bipolar disorder. And honestly, when I read this, I think I was too young to understand what happened. But as I grew up and I read more about the book, I think it was high time that someone wrote about bipolar disorder and other mental illnesses. And also one great thing about this book is that it touches upon the fact that even if you're diagnosed with a mental illness, that is not the end of it. That is not the end of your life. You can still be cured. You can move ahead in your life. So that's something that I really enjoyed reading. And once you read this, you kind of, there's a message that you can always find strength within yourself, around yourself. Life can be changed, as it says, life is what you make it. So, and also, if you like reading love stories, this also has one of those. So again, very short. Okay, now in this one, I think I sort of cheated a little bit. It's okay, it's 209 pages, but I really wanted to include this. Okay, so on number 3 is Train to Pakistan by Khushwant Singh. Again, I read this way back. Like, I think it's been 4 or 5 years when I read this book, but I still remember this. Now, it is, if you didn't get it from the title, it's historical fiction based in 1947, when India went through partition. That was like the biggest human migration ever recorded in history of the world. And it was very, very sad and very violent, very disturbing, and everything. And honestly, I just really like reading about partition in fictional or non-fictional way, because it's such a big part of every Indian's history. And in so many ways, we are like, even though I wasn't born at the time, I was born way after partition. But I guess a lot of Indians can relate that this just something that whenever there's the mention of partition of 1947, there's just this something that you feel. Okay, I don't know, I'm just at a loss of words for what it is, but yeah. So that's one reason that I really liked it, but also because, like, it's based in this fictional village of Mano Majra, where everyone is a good friend of each other. Okay, so every, like, Sikh and Hindus and Muslims, there's no bifurcation like that, and nobody really cares about what the other person's religion is, and they are just friends. And then in a very, very emotional way, this book kind of puts forth the fact how partition and everything, it just created foes out of friends. People who were at the best of terms, people who were like family, who were like family were, they were kind of manipulated into being each other's enemy. And the animosity was at such a level that people were killing each other. So the book also has descriptions of very bloody, gory violence. But again, I don't know, I just feel it's close to my heart, and it's a very engaging read again. It's just 190 pages, and as expected, it's dealing with partition. So you have a lot to read about how personal relationships were ruined, how everyone's life just changed, just like that. In a blink of an eye, things just changed for the absolute worse, and the impact it had on people's relationships, friendships, personal life, everything. It was just so disturbing. So definitely not a light-hearted read, but very engaging still, such a page turner, and definitely recommended. So how could I not include Ruskin Bond in this video? So the next book is The Room on the Roof by Ruskin Bond. This book was the debut novel of Mr. Bond. He wrote it when he was just 17, and every time I say this out loud, it just blows my mind. But anyways, so it's again a very short book. It is just 184 pages, and the basic storyline is that there's this 16-year-old Anglo-Indian boy who lives with his guardian in the Europeanized part of Dehradun, India. And he's not happy there, and eventually he leaves and goes to live with his friends, Indian friends. And the book you can call like this a coming of age story, a growing up story. The vibe that this book always gives me is a very, very cozy vibe, which obviously you can also tell from the cover. I really love the kind of descriptions that the book gives about the Indian markets in Dehradun. They're very real and they make you want to go there. So it kind of brings it to life. So if you like reading about, friendships and love, and especially how all this turns out when you are just 16-year-old, I think you should definitely go for it. It kind of feels very magical to me, and I think everyone who has been a teenager, especially in India, they'll definitely relate. It's a very cute and sweet book, and I love this. Now, the last recommendation for today is By My Side by Sue Reed, and it says a Second World War love story. So, it's a historical fiction set at the time of the Second World War. So, basically, there are these two characters, this girl and boy, and they are in love. But the boy is Jewish, the girl is not, and it's obviously difficult for him to survive in Nazi Germany. And when you read this, you kind of realize how love was totally impossible um, at that time, or I think love is impossible at the time of war. It just it's very at least it's very difficult to be in love when there's a war or there are these disturbing times going around you. If you like reading love stories, then I think you should definitely read By My Side. Very short book. I actually read it just at once, so very very short, and also a little bit emotional, I would say. So, if you like reading sentimental love stories, then this is the perfect one for you. So, that was all I had for today. If you like the recommendations, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, do not forget to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel. And if you hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button, you will be notified every time I'll be posting another video. You can also follow me on my Instagram. My Instagram handle will be mentioned here on the screen, and the link to reach my profile is in the description box. So you can click that, reach my profile, and follow me if you want to. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.